Hello, everybody, and welcome to the day 4 of Hearthstone Gold Club World Cup. My name is Gia, and joining me for the open of the day is Nayara Silvestri. How are you doing, Nay?
Hi, Gia. I'm really fine. I'm really excited for being my first day on Battlegrounds. I'm not like expert like Gia and language hacker, but I will try to keep it up.
Don't worry, Nay. Nobody is an expert on how to cast Battlegrounds so far because it is very new. So, for anybody who's just joining us today, it is the 4th of 7 days for this week tournament where teams from China and all across the globe will be competing for their share of a prize pool of around $100,000. And it's not just Battlegrounds, but constructed later on today. So, there's all types of Hearthstone action going on for this week. For Battlegrounds, we are starting off the day with Group B because there are 2 groups separated into 4 teams for each. For Group B, Nai, can you tell us some of the teams that are catching your eye?
Yes. I would like to say that G2, they didn't have a really good run on the first run, right? But on the second one, when Simei could get the Murloc composition, she rocked. So I'm excited to see her playing today.
That's right. G2 is one of the international teams that will be playing today alongside T1. And as for the Chinese teams, they're up against Team SN and Team WE, of which I think WE is a huge threat. They have Sparkling and Nightwalk as their Battlegrounds roster, each of them 14k plus MMR, and particularly Sparkling at 14,600, one of the highest I've ever heard of. But you're right, you brought up how Simi had an extremely good run for the second lobby. Each day, can you tell us how the schedule breaks down? How many lobbies are we going to be seeing throughout the week?
Yeah, today we will see 2 lobbies for the Group B, as you said. And tomorrow and after that day, we will see a lot of more lobbies. There are 6 lobbies for each team, right?
Yes, for each group, there will be 6 lobbies played in total. And so far, we have already seen 2 from Group B. So the third and fourth will be played out today. Whereas in Group A, they've already finished their 4 initial lobbies. And the point system is determined by your place in each lobby. Can you tell us how many points you get depending on how well you do, Nai?
Yes, the point distribution is like the first place you will get 9 points, the second place we will get 7 points, third place 6, fourth 5, and this way goes until the 8th place that you get only 1 point.
That's right. So the point distribution, there's a little bit of incentive no matter where you finish, but for first, it's a little extra bonus. Importantly, though, even if you place in the bottom 4, you still get some points. So we cannot really count
Yeah.
any of the groups out yet. For Group A, the teams already had kind of a big differential between the first place team and the fourth place, but the story in Group B is a little bit different. After the first day finished, the point totals were a little bit closer to each other. So I think that no matter what team you're in, no matter who you're rooting for, there's still a chance here. Do you have any favorites that you're looking out for, Nai?
Yes, I would like to say about WE. They have like excellent players, and I don't know if we underestimated the Nightwalker. We didn't see him doing like super well, but Sparkling for sure. He did really well on the first day, so I'm looking forward to see them
That's
playing
right.
today.
I'm also looking forward to seeing the T1 players, Surrender and Sixo, also being very experienced Battlegrounds players in their own right. Whenever I tune into Surrender stream, I think I see BG more often than Constructed these days. And Sixo, of course, almost entirely just playing Battlegrounds and has that 14k plus MMR to match. So no matter where you look,
比赛，直至决出黄金世俱杯标准模式冠军。
later on in the day, we'll
尽管战旗比赛
constructed
将
and
全程采用团队积
at the
分，
beginning of the day, we do have Battlegrounds, so you guys can take a look at this graphic to see just how it works.
Yeah.
得9分、7分、6分、5分、4分、3分、2分、1分。
So now you were talking about this point distribution. Would you say that it makes more sense to go for top 4 consistently as opposed to going for risky strategies and trying to get first all the time?
Yeah, like you said, on the group B, we have more even scores, right? So I think nobody have to be that greedy and go every time for first place. On the other side, on the group A, like Barcelona, they are far behind from Team Liquid, which they are in the first place. So tomorrow, I hope to see Barcelona keeping a more greedier strategy to try to get the first places, right? Because if they don't, they will not get into the semifinals on the next days.
That's right. So for Barcelona, it makes a lot more sense to play greedy because they're that far behind. But maybe for Group B, these 4 teams are kind of close to each other in the point totals that they can go for a bit more safe strategies. And when we talk about greedy versus safe in Battlegrounds, can you tell me about some of the comps that lend themselves more to a greedy strat versus a safe strat?
Yeah, I think the greedy strategy for sure is the Murloc ones when you have like only Brand and you try to swap your composition entirely for Murlocs. Every time it goes well, but you have to have some APM skills on that one for sure.
We'll definitely see how that works out later. For the standings, Group A was already done with their first 4 lobbies with TL in a very solid lead. But in Group B, you can see the story is much different. The point totals are very close to each other. T1 with a very tenuous lead, just 2 points over G2. And even the 4th place in Team SN just has a 5-point differential with the first place. So there's a lot of chance for things to be moving around, and each lobby today will be extremely crucial. You can see which players exactly are assigned to Battlegrounds here. Surrender having to perhaps play in both of the formats we have for today. Do you think that's going to be added stress for him?
Yes. Yesterday we saw some players get some fatigue thing because they are playing in both. So yeah, it's really tiring and stressful.
And for SN, name that I particularly recognize there is Jing for Constructed, but in Battlegrounds so far, despite the roster being all for Battlegrounds, I think it was Valera and SYU that we saw play before. And over in G2, Tice and RDU are tagged as playing in both Constructed and Battlegrounds, but I don't think we've seen Tice play Battlegrounds just yet. Might be day. And for WE, of course, Nightwalk is the one we are hyping up, the only one that's committed to Battlegrounds only.
Yes, and the rest of them all are for both, so maybe we will not see Sparkling today. I don't think so.
Yeah, it depends. And for anybody who's wondering why some of the teams are participating only in Battlegrounds, whereas some of the teams are participating in both Battlegrounds and Constructed, it would have to depend on how they qualified to this event, which applies to the Chinese teams only, as the international teams were invited directly to participate in both the formats. For the Chinese teams, they had to qualify through a previous tournament called GTC, the Gold Team Championship, and the top 4 that Battlegrounds qualified here, and the top 4 that qualified and Constructed made it to this tournament. So there are some teams that have reps in both of the formats, but some will only be in Battlegrounds, like World Elite in particular. I am very, very excited to see Nightwalk maybe live up to all the hype that we've been putting on his name.
Yeah, poor Nightwalk. We are hyping so much, so I hope to see him going super well today. And now we are seeing who is going to play Jia.
Yes, the MMR for all of them neatly broken down here. 6-0 with among the highest here. RDU at the highest. I think it's showing their peak MMR ever, because I'm not exactly sure if RDU is still at 14.6k at the moment.
Yeah.
In one of those interviews leading up to the event, one of the hosts very directly asked RDU, your MMR fell a bit recently, and why is that? I do love the Chinese hosts. They do not put any filter on. It's complete savagery. Yeah.
Yes, they are completely honest. I love that too. On Brazil, I'm known for being super directed to
Oh,
what
really?
I want to know. Yeah, so I love it, the interviews as well. And Gia, what kind of compositions that we didn't saw on the last days on Battlegrounds that you are hoping to see today?
Well, I mentioned previously my favorite comp is the Beasts with Baron Revendare and Goldrin, the Great Wolf. But after Goldrin got nerfed, I thought we wouldn't see it at all. However, Witty Bill yesterday actually ended up taking a first place, managing to smoothly level up early as Deathwing. So now I've had my fill of Beast comps, and I think I'm ready to see demons actually take it a little bit far. We've seen Murlocs, we've seen dragons and beasts, so there's also room for pirates or even a menagerie strategy to maybe surprise us a little bit. But we've also seen a fair amount of mech divine shield comps, which
Yeah.
I feel is not very common if you're looking to get first place. Can you tell us why people were maybe going for that a little bit more often in this event?
I don't actually know why they're going. I don't know if it's appearing for them and they will capture up to make a good composition with it. But the main thing that we don't see the max very often is because we don't have a really nice way to scale the composition. So that's why it's not the strong composition, but it's a really good one at the end.
Yeah, it doesn't scale all that much because when we talk about scaling in Battlegrounds, it heavily relies on very specific cards that tend to be around 5 stars and above. So for dragons, Caligos; for beasts, either the Mama Bear or the Goldrin; and for Murlocs, of course, getting your Bran into all of those big complete board buffs. For mechs, it's a bit more difficult to do that because you often get that big power spike when you have the deflecto bots and the resets for them, but there are not many cards for mechs that actually allow you to buff your entire board. Their finisher card on 6 stars is Kangor's Apprentice, is kind of difficult to make work with the board space issues as well. So mechs tends to be a strategy that gets you to about top 4, top 3 at best, but I think it's completely fine to just keep going for top 4s and top 3s because this tournament rewards consistency more than power spiking in Battlegrounds. So now, in each lobby, there are 2 players per team. Have you queued a lot of duos in Battlegrounds, and what do you think that experience is like? Is it different from when you're playing alone?
Yes, for sure. Sometimes I queue with my co-caster in Brazil. We play some battlegrounds together, and it is really, really fun. And I hope Blizzard can put the lobby for us very soon on America as well, so we can do the tournaments and things like that because it's really nice to play with your friends, right?
Yeah, for now, on the public server, the best you can do is queue with one person on your friend list. But of course, for this particular tournament, they're playing on a special tournament realm where it's a custom lobby full of 8 people, and we can actually bounce around and look at every single comp within one lobby, which is a doozy. So if anybody's just tuning in today, I hope you guys will get hyped for how we do the Battlegrounds coverage. As for what you like to go for in the meta, Nai, what do you think are the strongest heroes in Battlegrounds right now?
Wow, the heroes. For sure, Dancing Daryl for a really nice start on the tavern, Coyotes. Maiev, I'm not like really fan of her because I don't get to play too well with her, but it's a really, really good hero, and we have Deathwing for sure. Have fun. I don't know. We have a plate, of course, and Captain Eudora
Yeah.
that I think is the most strongest one, right?
Yeah, I think every single lobby we've watched so far, there has always been a Eudora because if it's offered to you, you take that. You bring up
Yeah.
Daryl though, which I think is a very cool opinion because Daryl's one of my favorite heroes for sure. But recently, it feels like Daryl's power level fell a bit. But after watching the way Nightwalk piloted him the other day to a pretty solid, I think, top 3 finish. I maybe didn't evaluate how to play Daryl in this meta quite so well yet. So I think with any hero, there's a lot of potential right there. And I'm very excited to see if somebody will take a win with a lower rated hero, because sometimes Bob doesn't offer you all the premium
Yeah.
choices. Sometimes you need to work with patches. And we did see an Alex Straza win already before. So are you hoping to see any particular take a surprise win?
Yeah, I think if we get to see, like, we saw some new houses playing, but I don't know if we had like a top 4 new house, so I'm excited to see something like that. Yesterday we saw, no, on the other day we saw Simei going with Bran, that isn't like a tier 2 hero, and getting the first place. So yeah, we will see some of that.
I'm glad you mentioned Bran, because I want to see some pogos for once. I think it's a
Yeah.
legit viable comp. Okay, from limited experience, but there is a way to take pogos into the end game if you hit some divine shields to go along with it. But we will see if the players are going to be a bit more restrained than that. Of course, we were talking about the importance of consistency rather than power spiking, so I might just be talking from my meme-loving heart. But there's potential for many different comps to come out here. And I think it's really the mark of the most experienced Battlegrounds players to see when they can take something unconventional and turn it into a win. Have you played very much Pirates Knife from the latest expansion on BG?
Actually, no. Like, I played when Blizzard released it, but nowadays I'm not playing because I'm really focused on the constructed, because I was playing the Master Tour and I was trying to qualify for this one. It's the only one I didn't qualify yet, but I'm trying to get my finish on ladder. But yeah, I'm not like super on Battlegrounds, but when I can, I try to play because it's really fun.
Yeah. And as somebody who's mainly focused on constructed, I'm sure you can relate a lot with some of the players that are in the roster. For example, Surrender has to spend a lot of his time on playing constructed for Grandmasters. Same with RDU, but here they are playing Battlegrounds. Do you think the skill set crosses over a bit? Do you think it gives them a little bit more of an edge if they're focusing on constructed, or is it a distraction?
Yeah, we could saw this with Barcelona team, that I think they overestimated the game a bit, maybe, and we can see that they are much better in constructed than Battlegrounds. So yeah, maybe it's such a distraction. Yeah.
Definitely a challenge there, but I think it's something that these players can step up to 100%. And speaking of constructed, T1 over in the conversion had an extremely good run on their first day as well. Orange taking a 3-0 sweep with the rogue gameplay, I believe. And so T1 is ahead in Group B, not just in Battlegrounds, but also in constructed. Do you expect T1 to keep their streak going later today in constructed?
Yes, for sure. T1 is one of the most strongest that we have, like super consistent players. We know like forever. We have Fino, we have Orange. I think Fino will start playing today. So yeah, they are really friends, really close friends. We see them like chatting each other when they are streaming. So I think they have like this synergy, then they need to play as a team and getting to a really good comp to this tournament that is a 10 comp thing. You have to bring the 10 decks for each class. So yeah, I think T1 is one of the favorites here.
Yeah, I would completely agree, especially since for later on today in Constructed, there is already the bans that we have, and we're not going to spoil that, but I'm pretty curious to see if people were getting a little bit scared of Priest, perhaps, because it's been two separate series now where Priest took 3-0 victories. Now, you and I cast a very, very long series yesterday. Do you think that people are not showing enough respect to Priest?
Yes, I don't know. I don't respect Priest as well. But yeah, Priest is doing a really really good job on this tournament, and I think people should have some respect for it. If you are tired and if you don't want to go for like long games like we have yesterday, yes, for sure you have to ban Priest.
Yeah. And it's curious
The
that
casters appreciate it.
for sure we do. And I have to say it's curious that even towards the very end of this meta, because the new expansion is coming out very, very soon, August 6th, Skullman's Academy, there's still questions about how to necessarily build your deck and what decks to ban in this strange format. It's not universally agreed upon what are the 4 strongest classes to ban away. If you ask me, Demon Hunter would be an insta ban, but there have been several teams that are leaving it up. I also feel like Rogue could have had some bans where it's been left up. The only thing that people seem to agree on is that Warrior and Hunter should be banned pretty consistently. Some room for innovation, and I love to see that all the way towards the end of this meta. For Skullman's Academy night, we had that reveal stream last night. I know you were casting, but did you get any chance to catch a VOD maybe?
No, I'm completely honest with you, Gia. I didn't catch anything because when I finished the casting, I went to eat and then I sleep like I slept for 5 hours straight. Then I wake up, we eat, started some battlegrounds, and sleep again. So I didn't see anything. Can you tell me something spicy from yesterday's review?
First of all, what you described about your day is the most relatable thing I've ever heard from the quarantine life. But yeah, I did manage to get a chance to see a bit of the reveal stream last night. I'm very, very excited about all of the dual class cards. I saw some people posting about new damage combos for Warrior already. There's a card that gives a damaged minion +3 attack and Divine Shield at 1 mana. It just seems like power creep on Seal of Champions from the Grand Tournament. We've seen power creep on some other cards as well, Coerce. I feel like this expansion has that immense power level that is already looking like how people got so shocked when the Ashes of Outlands cards were released and they looked really, really powerful. I wouldn't be surprised to see every single deck that we're going to see today become invalid for at least being viable in the meta come next week.
Yes, and this is the thing we want to see. The whole new meta for sure is what we want, and it's what Blizzard is going to like. We have some balance patches that we didn't get to see this kind of work on the past, like 3 years ago. We didn't have so many patches between the expansion, so I'm loving to see the work of Blizzard on this kind of stuff to always refresh the meta. For who is into the competitive scene, this is so important because playing the same decks every time is kind of boring. So yeah, it's really nice.
So we'll look forward to that next week. But for now, we have Battlegrounds action starting up. RDU with his Maiev, teammate Simi with the Yogg, Nightwalk on Rafam, and Sparkling still choosing here. Nothing too strong, but I would definitely look at the Malagos or the Lich Bazial here. Which would you prefer?
Yeah, I think Malagos is a good choice. We are seeing now Deathwing for Surrender. Okay, it's a really strong one.
Sixo has Maleficent again, which kind of underperformed for him the other day, but maybe he has a chance to do a little bit better this time. Dragons are the ban from this lobby, so Surrender with the Deathwing, I think that's pretty fine as long as they're still beasts, and he does get a token start. Looks good.
Yes, and he is with the the most powerful minion for Tavern 1, so yeah, it's a really good start. We see Valira with the cats. Which the cat's most cute, Gia?
Tabby Cat is cuter than Alley Cat, but there are many cards cuter than Tabby Cat. Changed my mind.
Yes,
Sky
I agree with you.
is the first time we've seen a Krag in the lobby, so SN Valira, I think I'll be very, very interested to see what turn he chooses to go for the power spike. Personally, I like to cash out the piggy bank when it's around the 5-star level, so you can start getting the carry cards on the same turn you go for that level. But Sparkling actually chose Hooktusk here when we were thinking about Malagos. Hooktusk used to be what probably the strongest hero until it got nerfed to when you find a card from the lower tavern tier, you can't discover it anymore. It's random. So what do you think about this choice?
Yes, it's a really nice choice to go with the hook tusk, right? Because I don't get to see what other choices he has, but yeah, it's a really curious choice. Let's see how he will go with her.
Nightwalk with their farm on the standard curve of not leveling on the 4 gold turn. With their farm, you generally want to start hero powering every turn once you hit the 4 gold, and he can try and hit the triples a bit easier that way, or at the very least get a wide board and then level at a later turn.
Yes, Hafan is much known for having a really nice start here, and Nightwalk get the win. Let's see, Simei it's with Yogg Saron. What do you think about Yogg in particular?
I think Yogg is definitely a tier A hero at the very least. Great tempo in the mid game. It doesn't really let you whiff so much, even if you don't hit a token, because on the 5 gold turn you can buy and hero power to get 2 minions. But RDU is going to face off against Simi, so because they're teammates, I expect RDU to not even play his alley cat here. He goes for the level and gets a pretty good imprison target in the Rat Pack. Take note, the players are not allowed to communicate directly with their teammates, but they can use emotes.
Yes, yesterday I think we saw Trunks communicate with emote with his teammates. I'm really curious to know what are the codes and what they are trying to talk with each other, and if that kind of communication really works.
Yeah, I mean, it should be relatively important, especially when there's a Rafam in the lobby that's facing off against his teammate. The teammate can potentially put a minion that Rafam wants at the very leftmost of their board and try to make that the first one to die. For Simi, though, she has leveled relatively early and has hit Deflectobot. That's a pretty good 3-star minion to get, and I think she freezes to get that Harvest Golem for a guaranteed reset on it.
Yes, for sure. I think Harvest Golem with the Deflectobot that early on the game is like huge, right? Because you can already go for the mech composition, so I think she's in a really good spot here.
Yeah. And Nightwalk did get the triple on Scallywag, which helped him discover Rip Snarl Captain. That's already great synergy. He freezes 2 more pirates despite them being 1-stars, because they are enough to carry a comp if you already have Rip Snarl on board. I think it's a pretty strong start for Nightwalk, but he'll take a loss to Deathwing because he doesn't have enough tokens on board.
Yes, and when you go with less minions, you are always the second to attack, so you have a disadvantage on your favor. So yeah, and since they, like we said on the beginning of the stream, they already have like even points for each other. Nightwalk's going with the pirate composition that not really often get the first place, right? So he's going for the regular one on the third to first place. It's not a really good composition to finish, right?
Yeah, I would tend to agree. Murlocs and Dragons tend to be the first place finish. Dragons are banned from the lobby, and given that Murlocs are not people's first choice when they're trying to be a bit more consistent, I wouldn't fault somebody going for Pirates, and I could still see it taking the win there. Or if not a win, he could just take some heavy hitting mid-game damage. If you're caught unprepared by Pirates, you can just take 20 damage out of nowhere and die before you even get to a powerful comp.
Yes, and here we see a mixed composition for Pixel. Of course, he's trying the mech one because of the Maleficent, but he already have the pack, the red pack. So let's see what he's going to get on the next turns.
Facing off against teammate Surrender, he actually puts his rat packs in the front of his team, so he actually wants to spawn less tokens so he doesn't damage the Deathwing very much, and I think that is very considerate of him, and it works out great because they get a tie.
Yes, and this is something I want to ask you, Gia. We don't get to see like on this kind of um, stacked people playing so well Battlegrounds. They doesn't get to mispositioning the minions, right?
I'm sorry, could you repeat that?
The position of the minions on the board. Like when I'm playing, I always mispositioning mine because I don't know like the order on some compositions, which is good to be first, or which minion will you go on the left or the right. And here we don't see that kind of mistake, right?
Yeah, it's very difficult to call it a straight up mistake or not. I even when I talk to the very best Battlegrounds players, they're not 100% sure of where to position something. If you had perfect knowledge of how your next opponent's board is going to look like, then you can make better decisions. But a lot of the time, it is going off of intuition. There's a lot of argument of, for example, if you're running the Deflecto bots, should you always have that in the first of your team when you have Spawn of N'Zoth to go alongside it, and you would adjust accordingly depending on whether you expect your first opponent to have like a big Divine Shield taunt or not. So I would be remiss to say people are making straight up mistakes, but at the very least, I can see their mindset every single time.
Yeah, it's really good. And we are seeing now Valera going with a mixed composition. And Gia, if you get the chance to ban a hero for the tavern, which one would be? Like, which one you don't like to face it?
Probably Eudora. It's the strongest one, but it just has so much inconsistency, right? If you dig into like a Mekaru Golden versus a crowd favorite Golden on your first dig, the difference is so big in the power spike. Same thing with your choice of Discover on the 4 stars. For RDU though, on the Maiev, has held on to a lot of pairs and has the chance to get a pair on the Alley Cat, but he's thinking about whether he wants to save it for later because when he gets a triple on 5 stars, that's a lot more relevant because he can discover potentially Mama Bear or Goldrin, which can really carry his whole comp.
Yes, freezing a board is really important to make sure that minions you want will be there on the next turn, right? But it also means you will lose the free roll of Tavern Bob that he gives to you. So, any thoughts about that, Gia?
Yeah, it's really difficult to say. I have to also say I'm really happy with Sparkling's direction because he picked up the Captain Hagar now and the Salty Looter. It's a little bit late, but if he manages to hold on for a little bit longer, he could see some APM shenanigans coming about. Over for Nightwalk, it's also a pirate composition with a pair on the deck Swabby, but I don't think this is particularly going to scale well until he gets a Hogger of his own.
Yeah. He's needing a hogger for sure to have more gold. And now he got like a not that taunt that he wanted, but it's okay.
These scallywags looking like they can attack a million times. The text on it says that the death immediately, so after it gets procced, it attacks, and if it takes a value trade, it can sometimes attack twice in a row.
Yeah. Deathwing get the wing.
And for Nightwalk on, I guess we're moving on to Simi now. She has taken so much damage in the early game, but has some pretty good mech synergy at the moment. Really looking for another Deflectobot ideally, but she is looking to make do with the board currently. She can afford to buy the the security rover, but it involves
Security
selling,
rovers.
yeah, her Zera. So she actually,
Whoa!
nice. Okay.
Yeah, she flipped the coin really right here.
Gets the best result from the hero power and still holds on to Xeris to give her a miracle a little bit later on. I noticed that Simi really likes taking Xeris among all the other players we've seen. And I respect that. You know, I oftentimes don't have the guts to take Xeris.
Yes, and here we already have a net peg on the board. on this early game, so it's really nice. He is already on the tier 5 tavern, so let's see if he will get the pirate composition sparkling.
And RDU hit 2 triples to get these gas coilers, but I'm sure he would rather have Mama Bear than these because he is at such a high health total where gas coiler is obviously more often a tempo choice. He was looking for better ways to scale. Off against teammate Simi though, so he does not play either of those gas coilers, and he's essentially giving up a lot of his health to make sure that Simi is not knocked out just yet.
Yes, and she was with a really low health, right? So yes, it's really noble of Ardu doing that, but he will take a lot of damage here, Gia.
It is quite a lot indeed. But I think that RDU feels pretty confident that he can still scale up quite well because he hit 5 stars. The 20 damage is really, really rough though. The other person on the 5-star tier right now is Valira with the Captain Krag, and we can see he's already very close to dying, but the fact that he hit 5 stars earlier and cashed out the piggy bank could give him some signs of life.
Yes, but 3 of health, it means that if you lost any kind of battle here, you will probably die. So yeah, Valira has to have a really careful here.
It's unfortunate he didn't find, say, an Argus to buff his Anayalan Battlemaster because that could have been a carry if he had taunt on that to also benefit from the Strong Shell Scavenger, but he was just kind of scrounging for a way to make those pirates work, putting the Nat Pagel second to attack, so if that could help him take a scaps. For Sixo though, this looks like a much better Maleficent game than previously.
Yes, for sure. Sixo, he was the first one on the first run to get out of the game with the Maleficent. But yeah, for sure, he is making a really good job on this tavern.
And I think he has mostly mechs and just the one rat pack, so Lightfang was not the most obvious choice, but as far as the other options, they didn't really let him scale, and he didn't need tempo options, he needed scaling, so I think it makes a lot of sense he picks Lightfang there, and if he picks up a powerful dragon to go alongside with that, he could try and coast on Lightfang for a while. Surrender, on the other hand, freezes for a triple, also has a mech strategy. We do see a lot of mechs because people are going for top 4s.
Yeah, that's what we said. Like, nobody wants to go greedy here because they already have a really nice punctuation. So I think we will see some of that tomorrow, as we can see like Barcelona and things like that. So yeah,
it does look like here Simi has the advantage in this mech mirror though, because her double security rovers are being extremely a great one to counter Deathwing.
Yeah, for sure. And here, Surrender will have, like, let's see, 14 of health less.
And this Krag is super dead by the triple shredders. Didn't become golden, but that will mean SN Valira is the 8th place in this lobby. Pretty unfortunate that he didn't hit the great power spike with Krag.
Yes, and they are already in last place. Like we said, the score is pretty even, but Sunning is on the last place of the group with 16 points. So yeah, they will have to keep it up on the next run, Gia.
Surrender not hitting Kangor's Apprentice or even a great tempo option outside of the Imp Mama. He could pick up the Mama Bear and try to pivot from this point. He's facing a Ghost, so I think it's a valid strategy. He's just gonna go for the tempo option though and stick to trying to make mechs work. That Tavern he froze had a second Deflectobot and double Junk Bot, so that could be pretty good for him to try and hit top 4.
Yeah. And here Simei has the Golem, okay, which is a mech, but it doesn't actually go with her composition. Like, when the Golem dies, it not summon a mech. So yes, it's a really strong minion, but it doesn't fit like pretty well on the composition.
Yep. She went for the hero power again there, and you sometimes do that as Yogg if you have 2 gold remaining. You sometimes take a minion with the hero power, even if it's not guaranteed to be good with your comp, and then just save that as extra gold for later on.
Yes, for sure. And there, of course, she wanted to get the Metal 2 Leaper to already buff the max, but I think she will froze that tavern to get it later.
Over for Sparkling. It's been a while since we checked in on him, but while he didn't hit a second Hogger, he did manage to hit these 2 Seabreaker Goliaths, which synergize extremely well with the Pirates on board. If he manages to stay alive a little bit longer, he can go for an alternate Pirate strategy, not for the APM, but just hitting Eliza and constant board buff.
Yes, the Seabreaker Goliath is really strong here. For who doesn't know him, he has Wind Fury, and when he overkill, he gives to your other pirates +2/+2, so it's huge here.
Does end up in a tie though, very very close at the end there, but I think Sparkling has good potential to keep scaling. He really needs to hit Eliza, so looking for another triple. But speaking of scaling, Sixo also at a pretty healthy life total, has that Light Fang. I'd expect him to pick up some more minion type synergies for that.
Yes, let's see here.
Oh, Reaper.
Okay, now he has the golem to go with if he wants, or he can pick even the Amalgadon.
It was interesting because he had 2 different minion types immediately, but I was definitely looking at the Foe Reaper getting the immediate attack from Deathwing, but Sir hits another triple here. He can just end with a full board after he gets the Discover from this triple as well. Looks good.
Yeah, let's see what he got. Nothing that synergizes with his comp, unfortunately.
Yeah, nothing that really helps the mechs, but I don't think the boat is a bad option at all for tempo. It kind of goes along with the Imp Mama of like just 2 decent minions that synergize well with the Deathwing hero power and gives him a lot of potential to knock someone out maybe before they can get into an endgame comp.
Yes, and the positioning there, he put it on the right place so they can summon, they have space to summon some minions. And yes, Imei is with a really good composition of mechs here. Although her Deflecto bot is not that buffed, right?
Yeah, it's really not. What she does have going for her though is the Kangar's Apprentice, so potentially resummoning eggs is a lot of additional stats, or resummoning Deflectobot. So I guess she's just gonna hope to get the most resets on that, which is a very valid strategy. RDU with the Beast comp has hit his Goldrin now, but he has tons of Death Rattle minions, so this is not looking like a Macaw Goldrin build. However, a Baron could still be very useful for this board.
Yes, or Mama Bear for sure. Yeah. So let's see who will win this. If Deathwing will get to the Jinx. Oh my god.
Very rough trades for RDU there, and also these tokens that he could summon could be disastrous because of Imp Mama. I don't see RDU getting out of this one.
Yes. The red pack will have to carry him. It doesn't seem like.
Well, if he can get rid of the Imp Mama, okay, that's a great trade. I think RDU stays alive because of this.
Yeah.
But he'll take a loss for sure. Oh, never mind. Boat? Never count out the gas coiler when it can summon boats. My goodness.
Oh my god.
It's
It's a tie.
Pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Nightwalk takes a lot of damage from Simi's comp there, but he's going to end up facing a ghost. He picked up Gold Grubber kind of late, but it still has some chances to scale.
Yes, and Sparkling has a defeat here, so yes, Nightwalk will have to keep it up to try the 4th place at least.
He is definitely fishing for a triple on the Anialan, which is probably one of the best minions to Golden as well, because it just stacks the attack and makes it so much more threatening. But he can also buy another Gold Grubber. Ooh.
He doesn't want to that. Seems like. I don't know what Nightwalk's really looking here.
I think he just wanted survivability. He's facing a ghost, so doesn't immediately have to be this turn, but he's looking for a golden on the Anihilan
Yeah.
or the egg. I do expect him to still play an Anihilan because he doesn't necessarily know how weak the Hook Tusk is. The board looks very fragile if you're starting with 6 minions, because if the Rip Snarl Captain gets sniped or any of the pirates, you lose so much of the strength.
Yes, he doesn't have a taunt, so yes, he have to go with that.
Okay. Actually just selling an egg here to immediately pick up a demon buff. And every little bit of attack is valued here on these Anihilan Battle Masters because they kind of end up being a very tanky minion, but tanks are useless if they're not able to kill things off in the process. So he wants
Yeah.
more attack on them.
Yes, and now RDU, he has the Mama Bear Gia.
Ooh.
So, my god, this composition has a lot of potential to win this whole thing, right?
It really does. And that first attack procced the Gold Jin when he had 2 other Death Rattle minions. RDU on God mode right now. I
Yeah.
fully expect him to sell off the gas coilers a bit later if he hits more synergy with the macaws, but even if the macaw missed, 1 proc on the Gold Jin would probably be enough to take this win as well.
Yes, and now he will get Simei out of this tavern, unfortunately for his team, but it's part of the game, right?
Yep, team kills are definitely part of the game. And he definitely gave her a chance to even make it to the 5th place by taking that 20 damage earlier. So that's a really cool facet of the game as well, when knowing that you're so far ahead that you can essentially give your teammate another life is really powerful as well. I have to say,
Yeah.
RDU was slacking off a little bit that other lobby when Simi took the win, so it's only fair.
Yes, I think so. And it was pretty close, actually.
Yeah, if actually that first macaw didn't hit the Gold Jin, maybe Simi actually even takes that lobby.
Yeah,
I mean that match.
你干得不错，
sure.
优秀的战术。
Okay, Hydra picked up. He's looking for Baron or a triple on the macaw.
Yes, and now he goes against Sixo, who's with the mech composition. And who gets that? Who have favor against
Ooh.
oof.
Yeah. Sorry, you can finish.
But yes, I was going to ask you, who do you think is favored on the beast composition or on the mech composition?
Well, it depends on the size of the beasts. If you're able to scale up beyond the attack of the Deflectobots, I think beasts can easily take that. For RDU though, it came at a very awkward point when he had offered both the Baron and the Macaw in the tavern. Had to sell some of the minions he was holding on to, but I think this is a perfect compromise. It's just scary that he doesn't have the taunt yet as the cherry on top for the comp. So he's looking to not have the Baron or the Goldrin sniped on the first attack.
Yes, let's see how are you going with this one against Sixo, and the other part we have Fun with Nightwalk going with a Demon Pirate composition. What about that, Gia?
I think he is making the best use of what was given to him, and you know, it's a scuffed comp. It's not something that is too much in either direction, but if you manage to make top 4 with something that's non-standard, I think it also shows a lot of experience there.
Yeah.
Doesn't look like he can get through these mechs though, because the divine shields are a little too big. Actually, I'm not sure.
Yes.
Okay, it just depends whether the reason the Deflectobot can actually let it kill the Rip Snarl Captain. That's the big one.
Yes, and for RDUs and Sixo's part, it seems like Sixo's will lost this one because the beasts of RDU are really, really big here.
Yep. Scaling already got kind of out of control there, and it's only gonna get better for RDU now because he had frozen the triple on the Macaw. He just needs to pick up a taunt, and it's looking like he would be unstoppable from this point. Nobody on Murlocs, so I'm not sure what can challenge Beast.
Yeah. And Beast is a really good way to beat Deathwing. So yeah, Ardew is in a really good position here.
One thing Surrender can do if he suspects that it's the Goldren build is try and pick up a Zap Slywick. However, he's on tier 5 with no pairs, so it's very unlikely that he can get that with the amount of gold left. He does have that Foe Reaper though, so RDU has to be a little bit wary of his positioning. And RDU actually did not pick up a taunt there. I'm very surprised that he used his last 6 gold to look for that, and instead he picked up a Zap Slywick.
Yes, he got the Zap to try to see what Surrender is going, but they are not really with a huge amount of life, so maybe who lost this tavern will lost the lobby actually.
Yeah, I think it's very likely as well. It's getting to the point where the threats, they have 4-star, 6-star minions, Surrender with the Foe Reaper and the Bolvar, and then RDU, Mama Bear, Baron, Goldren, all of these can deal so much damage.
Yeah.
RDU picking up his best tempo options, loading up on Divine Shields. Positioning is awkward because he has 3 taunts. It's nothing that he can really do to make the cleave less effective at this point.
Let's see, Macaw gets to
Macaw
hit first. Oh my god, yeah.
That's a very big deal. I don't think that RDU can lose this anymore.
Yeah, it's a really big deal here.
There was a chance that if that Foe Reaper hit first and if it sniped the Baron or the Goldren, this could be a bit of a different story. I wish we had the deck tracker ability to see the percentage favor there.
Yeah, but oh my god, he lost.
Wait, he's alive! He's alive!
1 health.
Wait, I didn't expect that the Beast would lose there even if they attacked first. Divine Shield maybe was a little bit too much.
Yeah, and even with 2 Hydras, that was the factor who surprised me.
Yeah,
because
sure.
Hydras, they are there because of it.
I mean, RDU now can pick up this Defender of Argus to prevent the sniping, but if he already lost despite their being able to attack first with the Macaw, maybe the taunt is not enough to solve his problems. However, the Foe Reaper did put a lot into that lobby, so if he's able to just taunt up 1 minion and make sure that the Foe Reaper doesn't snipe anything too important, he could still have a chance.
Yeah, but he is swapping his tavern. I don't know what he's looking for here.
Maybe he was looking for a triple on the Hydra or another Goldren to be more consistent, but I don't think another Macaw is bad at all.
Yes, I don't know if double Hydra it was the best thing here because he knows Surrender has a lot of Divine Shields and he will have to get through them with the Hydras.
He attacks first again.
Oh
Surrender
my
is
god.
not happy to see it.
Yes, Surrender went crazy here for sure, and he is right. I would be super upset.
And the Baron hit at the worst possible time. Not a great target to lose the shield on the Bolvar. But there is a boat!
Oh my god.
Cannot count Surrender out yet. But yeah, the 2 Hydra surviving is highly problematic for Surrender.
Yeah.
Oh, Bolvar
but
caught in the crossfire. That's GG.
Yes.
And because Mayaxna survived, that's also just the big KO. RDU looking very smug there. First place
Yeah.
finish.
And this is huge because G2 actually was behind only 41. So yeah, this victory is huge for RDU and CMA.
Yeah, we're gonna get word on how the standings actually panned out there, Simi, with the 5th place finish. I can't remember where 6 did, but those two have to be neck and neck now. In Group B, it was T1 and G2 in the first and second place slots prior to this lobby, so they're definitely still ahead right now, and it's already looking pretty worrisome for SN and WE.
Yes, and we were looking forward to see WE going pretty well today. So yeah, but we still have another more lobby, so everything can happen.
Mhm. Yeah, another lobby for today. For each day, anyone who's joining us right now, there are 2 lobbies of Battlegrounds to be played, and then later on in the day, we will have a bunch of constructed. And after today, there's still 3 more days of action because GCWC is a week-long tournament. So if anybody is wanting to send off this meta with a bang, make sure you stay with us. Now, later on today, are you excited to see any particular match in constructed?
Yes, I want to see G2 how they will go today because they didn't had a really, I was going to say run, but we are not talking about Battlegrounds. Yes, but they didn't went up pretty well on the first day on constructed, so I'm hoping to see them rocking out today.
Yes, indeed.
And let's see if we will get like we did yesterday an international and a Chinese team going forward to the same finals would be really great.
Yeah, that's right. We already did send 2 teams for the semifinals of constructed based on Group A at least, but we do have the results in, and it's G2 and T1 both taking 13 points total from this lobby because they had an even spread of how their players placed. But SN, it's looking really bad for them, 7th and 8th place, and they were already 4th to begin with. It looks like the same story for them as FCB over in Group A.
Yes. So yeah, now they will have to go with the greediest way. Maybe we will get to see some Murlocs compositions now, Gia.
Yeah, I mean, if you're in a desperate spot and you realize the math says the only way I get to qualify to the semis is if we take top 1 every single lobby from here on out, then it's absolutely right to go for Murlocs or more game-winning comps and just greedier strategies than you might normally go for. But it also depends on what Bob offers in the tavern and what is going to get banned. So we saw so far, I think 2 Baron Beast comps take wins. We've seen plenty of Murlocs. We've seen Dragons. What's the comp you're looking forward to placing first next, Nai?
I'm with you, Gia. I want to see some demon composition, like Nightwalk tried, but he couldn't get there with the demon composition. So yeah, I'm looking forward to see some strong ones.
Yeah, demons I think is can be very strong around the 3-star mark when you get the soul jugglers, but after that, when people start scaling, the jugglers lose their effectiveness very, very quickly. So it would be kind of wishful thinking for us to look for demons, but you know, a girl can hope. So guys, we will be coming back with more Battlegrounds action soon, so don't go anywhere during this break.
教派派对也挺多的。跟团剧组不要到处乱逛。
开玩笑的，别当真。
你要将这城市永远不负光，动力是人生，我的家。嘿，嘿，我爱他。
Are you ready for the Inter-Multiversal Nexo Weight Championship? You better be! El Bandito Imperious! Gata de Batalla Lele! Mel Gaucho! Bienvenidos a la catedral de las mejores batallas del Nexo. Ding, ding, ding! The party's on! ¡Épico! What a takedown! Give it up for MC Tombstone! Rampage, all right! We got ourselves a winner! We're going to Nexomania, y'all!
Hello， 大家好，我是刘雨熙。祝炉石传说黄金世俱杯顺利举办，巴塞罗那电竞俱乐部打出好成绩，希望他们不仅球路好，还运更出色。巴塞罗那不只是一家俱乐部 ，Barcelona more than a club。
Salut, c'est Antoine Griezmann, joueur du FC Barcelone, et j'encourage notre équipe française Hearthstone qui va faire la compétition Gold Cup World Cup le 27 juillet. Un petit coucou à tous nos amis chinois.
大家好，我是角色黄旭东，在这里祝黄金世俱杯的参赛战队巴塞罗那加油！
W1 加油！炉石传说黄金世俱杯加油！W1 走夜路选手加油哦！
大家好，我是夏依可，炉石传说黄金世俱杯加油，举世而望，天下无双。
巴塞罗那不只是一家俱乐部，此言非虚语。这不，巴萨的电竞俱乐部炉石传说战队即将出征黄金世俱杯。7月27号18点，我在黄金世俱杯炉石传说等你，不见不散。
Hello， 大家好，我是娇娇，祝7月27日黄金世俱杯顺利举办。
祝7月27日炉石传说黄金世俱杯顺利举办。
黄金世俱杯巨势无双，
希望咱们中国的国服的俱乐部能够有好的发挥。
希望国服俱乐部能够发挥出色，夺得冠军。
西安炉石加油！
西安炉石加油！
黄金世俱杯巨势无双 ，WE 加油！
大家好，我是王师傅，这是我们 IC 要参加世俱杯的比赛了，希望我能够获得冠军。
大家好，我是 CBA 北京首钢队翟小川，北京老炮战队炉石传说黄金世俱杯加油
！RNG 战队炉石传说黄金世俱杯加油！
嗨，大家好，我是江苏苏宁足球俱乐部的谢鹏飞，苏宁战队世俱杯加油
！VK 战队世俱杯加油
！W1 战队炉石传说黄金世俱杯加油！
大家好，我是汪松，在这里祝 LF 战队炉石传说黄金世俱杯加油！
大家好，我是炉石战旗的主播诺斯塔利。炉石的黄金世俱杯马上就要开始了，我最看好的队伍应该是 WE 啊，因为我最开始就很早就已经在看 WE 的比赛了，就沃3那一会儿，所以我还是希望他们的战旗这一块啊能够有出色的发挥。炉石黄金世俱杯加油 ，WE 加油！
埃及俱乐部加油！炉石传说黄金世俱杯加油！
祝炉石传说黄金世俱杯圆满举行，中国战队加油！
大家好，我是段轩，很高兴得知巴塞罗那进军卡牌游戏电竞，祝巴萨在炉石传说黄金世俱杯中打出好成绩。巴塞罗那不只是一家俱乐部。
大家好，我是亚洲电子体育联合会总干事刘钊，在这里我们 AESF 恭祝炉石传说黄金世俱杯顺利举办。
Welcome back, everybody. You're watching Day 4 of the Gold Club World Cup. My name is Gia, and still with me for the second lobby of Battlegrounds today is Nayara. Any words to share from that first lobby, Nay?
Yes, Gia, I want to say that I'm having a lot of fun here. I was kind of worried because, yeah, Battlegrounds is something we are not used to casting. So, yeah, but I'm having a lot of fun here.
That's right. Battlegrounds is so new to be in a competitive platform, let alone watching all 8 of the players at once. For anybody who missed the first round of action, don't worry because we have another lobby. But to give you guys a quick recap, it was G2 that reigned supreme with RDU taking that win. But in terms of the points actually earned, because depending on where you place, you get a specific amount of points. A lot of your 2 team members get added together as a sum for the points earned. It's technically still ahead in the totals, but we're in the second lobby now. Simi on this Dancing Daryl, Nightwalk with Kael'Thas, Sparkling with Nosdormu, very strong heroes.
Yes, and for RDU, not actually really good choices here, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I do agree with his pick of Pyramid now. It took a long time before Pyramid hit a power level that was kind of satisfactory, but this is a lobby that seems pretty fine. If the dragons are banned, he still has a chance to hit that Murloc Tidecaller and also a chance to hit Micro Machine to buff with Pyramid.
Yes. And yeah, Daryl is really good here. We talked about him before, and I'm excited to see how Simei will dance with him.
For Sparkling, Nosdormu with the free refresh of the tavern every turn has more consistency, I would say, for getting the good 2-star minions, which shouldn't be underestimated because it gives you a lot of consistency. We saw Sparkling there potentially facing off against a teammate, which is why he's not played that Rockpool Hunter.
Yeah. Simei already had the 2 Murlocs on the start. It's really good to dance. Whoa, this is huge. So, Gia, what's the strategy to get a really good buff minion with Daryl?
With Daryl, the hero power says whenever you sell a minion, give a random minion in Bob's Tavern +1/+1 twice. So what you can do, and when we say dancing on a minion, is buy every minion first except the one you want to buff, and then sell a lot at once so that you can get, tons of hats landing on that minion. And it tends to be a Divine Shield minion. However, with Simi's opener, with that potential triple on the Murloc Tidehunter, you might not necessarily go for see her go for a dance strategy. Instead, she could go for a normal curve and just try and hit powerful Murlocs.
Yes, and she already got that. Let's see how she will do the next turn. And here for Kael'Thas.
It's kind of bad, right? I mean, normally you want to sell a minion and buy 2 when you have 5 gold, but there's actually no 2 minions that are better than the rock pool. It's just the old Murkeye. So we could see Nightwalk just oh wow, actually just level here. Okay.
Okay, I will take the hit, but you guys wait for me because I will rock on the next tavern.
SN SYU with the Eudora already has tokens and has his dig, should be complete on the 7 gold turn, I think, because he bought 2 minions. So normally I expect to see Eudora finish the dig on turn 6.
Yes, to get the first golden minion, right?
Or I could be miscounting. We will see here just how far along his hero power is. But RDU with the Golden Tide Caller already is making great use of that Pyramid hero power. He can also buy the Rock Pool, and that's pretty good as well.
Yes. Seems like we will see some Murloc composition here, Gia.
Yeah, there's a lot of potential for it. Golden Unstable Ghoul is not a great one, but the Eudora player could just go for it right now. That's why you could look for the Gold Grubber, but he's facing off against his teammate SN Valera, so he's holding on to the Ghoul for now.
Okay, let's see what Valera has. Wow. Okay, this will not be a tie, but they will have a few damage. Okay.
Yeah, that's very curious. I'm not sure if this is spectator bug or not, but didn't even use his hero power there. Not sure if he didn't buy any minions in the first place. Could have been he leveled and rolled to look for that triple, but now he's hit the triple Wrathweaver, has potential to scale with demons, hit the Hydra, which is a great one to get with Edwin. So Valeera has a lot of power to come up in the next couple turns.
Yes, and buffing Hydra is what you are looking for, because how many buff you got, more powerful the hit of Hydra will be for sure.
And SYU with the power level again, he wanted to discover a 5-star minion instead there. Hits the Captain Hogar, so now he can probably just fill up his board with pirates in the meantime and look for salty looters to kind of capitalize.
Yes, who doesn't know what Hogar does? After you buy a pirate, he gains 1 gold this turn only. So yeah, you have a really good economy thing with Hogar on the game.
Ooh, Simi, we saw that she could hit the triple on the Tidehunter, and she did, and discovered a gold grubber to go along with it. That's really great scaling because the triple on a token generating minion gives you 2 golden minions on board. It might be a little bit of a board space issue later on, but for now, I think that's a great outcome for her.
Yes, for sure. The gold grubber will be really buffed by the end of the game. So yeah. But the goal...
Yeah.
Yes, he made a really good job here.
One of the few situations where the ghoul actually came in handy when Simi had relatively low health minions and her Spawn of the Zoth didn't immediately go off. Starts the turn buying this piloted Shredder and also just buying some other minions. So this is what you can do with Daryl sometimes, is load up and take a buy turn and then later on look for a better minion to dance on. And the added benefit for that is even though Simi's not making her board that much stronger immediately, is the gold grubber will just keep scaling.
Yeah. And actually she's with a really good board right now. And Nightwalk is going with the pirate composition again.
Yeah, I mean, he has potential to triple next turn with the Saucy Captain, and so if he levels, he can also discover Hogar with the Salty Looter already on board. So I think Nightwalk also has some great direction right there. For Sparkling, it is kind of a weird board. He leveled to 4 stars relatively early and only has 4 minions, but he's relying on this Macaw to just summon another 8/8 and kind of
Yes, but it's really likely that he will not be the first to attack here, so he will have to get some lucky. Oh, but RDU seems like he has 4 minions as well, but he got some lucky here.
Yeah, the Macaw was not sniped, so in the end it still kind of made Sparkling's board have the max power, but just by a little bit that Murloc Tide Caller is going to take the win for RDU. It's the strategy you can do with Pyramid is not going for a wide board to make sure that your hero power, which normally has a random target, is more likely to land on a minion you actually want to have more health on, as opposed to a minion that is not really going to stay in your comp for a long time.
Yes, and here Valeera has the Flecko bot. He already has the Harvest Golem, so yeah, he has to freeze now to have the really good mech composition here. But as we saw, the mech composition doesn't get really often the first place, and here for Valeera's place on the scores, I think they should go for that kind of strategy right now, Gia.
It could be. At least he is Edwin, right? And he has that Hydra, so that can give him not purely mechs. I think it's totally fine for him to go with what he has at the moment. But Simi is a player that definitely has the opportunity to scale a bit bigger. That Cold Light is looking interesting to me because she has Murlocs, but there's not that much space to go for Murlocs if she's more relying on this Gold Grubber. And the fact that she rolled there, I think, is showing that she'd rather look for a minion to dance on.
Yeah. For sure. She had the chance to go with a really huge Murloc there, but she didn't freeze it. So yeah. And now against Van Cleef.
Okay. Harder to look for a good dance target when dragons are banned from the lobby. Normally Bronze Warden is one of the best targets for that, but Instead, Simi could be looking for a deflect robot or a Hydra.
Yeah, for sure. Ooh.
Unexpected
All
that
those
she takes the loss
taverns
there.
for just a little.
Okay, SYU. Levels again. Pretty brave indeed, but this Eudora dig has just finished, so that a shot of discovering a 6-star minion. And boat, I guess.
The boat? Yeah.
I mean, he has a couple of roles that he can still do with his gold remaining. So if he hits Baron Riven there, this could be a different story. He did discover a gold boombot. He has the egg, and with the Tide Razor, that's some decent synergy for a Baron comp.
Yeah, for
Printing
sure.
money. Always love to see that free dealing gambler when you have Captain Hogger.
Okay.
One last roll. I don't think anything here is particularly helpful. I think he could just take the Sneeds as a tempo option.
Yes. And we saw SYU going with a Nagro thing, like he's leveling up so much faster than the others. And this is the kind of action I want to see by the players that are on the lost streak here, Gia.
Yeah, the greedy plays definitely to be taken so they can come up with the higher results. They can't settle for 5th and 6th from here on out because they're so far behind. Nightwalk with the Pirate Energy looking pretty good. He hasn't hit a Hoggar of his own, but the Seabreaker Goliath, we've seen how much work that can put in. I think his comp can easily take out unprepared people and just knock them out of the lobby.
Yes, for sure.
Okay, the Hydra attacking first there is a very big deal. Otherwise, the taunt could have gotten out of range of the team.
Yeah.
Still though, it's gonna be Nightwalk taking the win, but the Edwin player will survive. Surrender on Deathwing again, I believe. Hasn't taken any damage so far. We haven't spectated him at all, but you know, it's not necessary. We saw he had a rat pack, so we know what's going on.
Yes, and here seems like Surrender will get the first defeat on the run.
First defeat, but he has managed to level pretty smoothly. I think he could still coast onto a 5-star level because he's healthy and go for a similar strategy that RDU had last game.
Yes, and here Valeria will face the Deathwing, so he has to be really careful here. I don't know if this is actually the greatest comp to go against Deathwing, because he doesn't has a way to get a lot of tokens by his minions, right?
Not too many tokens, but the way that the Deflectobot operates is kind of like a token as well with all of the resets.
Yeah.
As long as a minion can attack multiple times, you want quantity over quality a lot of the time in the early game or even mid-game versus Deathwing. Simi here has danced on this infested wolf. I have to imagine she wasn't really offered a better target because not really ideal, but I think it could serve her pretty well here because she's still scaling pretty nicely with the gold grubber, can get a taunt on that big minion and on the spawn of N'Zoth if she wants.
Yes, and now she will go against Nightwalk, who has the pirate composition, so I don't know if this is really good for her here.
It's tough. Against pirates, it actually makes a lot of sense to go and taunt your biggest minion so that their first attack can run into the taunt, and if it's not bigger than that, suddenly they're losing so much advantage, especially if it's Seabreaker Goliath. She does end up just taunting the spawn of N'Zoth. Seabreaker will get at least one attack in. Oh, but it's not the first attacking minion from the Kael'thas, actually.
Wow. Yeah.
Okay. Didn't get the snipe. Oh, the Seabreaker gets a pretty bad target, but the remaining pirates are still pretty big.
Yes. Simei will lose here, but still alive.
Not the same story for Valera though. That is another. I can't remember if he was 7th or 8th, but yeah, that's another bad placement. I don't know if SN has any shot from here on out. I have to say, getting the early Wrathweaver looked promising, but we saw it's only a 10-10, which means he only bought 2 demons from the after he goldened it, and it's pretty unfortunate.
Yes, and here Nightwalk managed to get a Night Peggle. So yes, it's a really good, really strong pirate composition, Gia.
Yeah, for the moment. He's definitely still looking to get either a Captain Hog or Synergy going, or just triple into an Eliza. I think he's really looking to replace that Anialan Battlemaster. It's not getting very much work done whatsoever. And if he doesn't hit those Elizas, I don't see Nightwalk making it to the top 4, or rather the top, but maybe he can still knock out some greedy players in these mid-game turns.
Yeah. Sparkling going with Nosdormo here.
It was interesting if he could have thought about taking the Zap Slywick, which is a tech choice, which I feel is most effective against mechs and sometimes beasts if you're expecting that they have Baron Riven there. But he's facing the Eudora with the pirate build, so Zap is really not good against pirate.
Yes, and he got the triple here, so yeah, he had to get some APM here because the time was running out.
Simi picked up another gold grubber. It's kind of late, so second gold grubber, honestly, if you can get that early, it feels amazing because if you triple the gold grubber, it scales itself. It's kind of a risky thing to pick up the second one because for the immediate turn you get it, it's probably not going to be very big. But she took a risk here, and I think she's still in a decent spot to win this lobby. I mean, this.
Yes, yes, and as we saw, the demon composition is not that strong, Gia, so I think this Gyraxus will say goodbye right now.
Yep. Pretty crucial. Simi gets to hold on, and with the 2 gold grubbers is only going to get stronger from this point. And that means 6-0 is knocked out in 7th place. Pretty disappointing there. But it's also, Gyraxus is a hero that if you're not given enough demons, it's very, very difficult to actually make use of that comp.
Yes, but it's fine because T1 is on the first place along with G2, so it's okay, let's be that way. And we have Surrendered, which is still on the run with one of the most powerful heroes, and his comp's looking good here.
Yeah, going Iron Shield max synergy with the Bolvar, he freezes for the Bolvar pair. He's held onto this Iron Sensei for a while, which is another card that if you get it early, it's pretty great, but later on, there's often not time to get it. And I expect to see Surrender just stay on tier 4 and look for triples on these eggs or the Bolvar. This is a strategy that also doesn't look like it tends to win a lobby, but for Surrender, that's absolutely fine because you mentioned T1 are pretty far ahead. So as long as they can get top 4s pretty consistently, it will work out for them.
Yes. SYU is with Death Rattle composition here.
Yeah,
let's
pretty
see
cool.
how it's go. Yes.
He picked up the Baron. Last time we saw him, we were saying that the Baron could be very, very beneficial. What it does now is that when the gold goes off twice, because it's golden, it goes off essentially 4 times because of the Baron, and so the bombs immediately die, the boat immediately dies, so there's a lot of fireworks that could happen.
Yes, let's see if this strategy will work out, and seems like this.
It really depends. These Pagels kind of need to scam a bit, but it did not hit an overkill target. Either of them did, so RDU will be hanging on here just a little bit longer.
Yeah. Yes, this Eudora is with a lot of life here, so it's fine to lose this one, but actually he will have to keep it up for the next tavern.
And Surrender here knocking out Simi. That's the revenge for 6-0. Of course, Surrender's teammate. And that's, you know, a great feeling for Surrender, not just because he didn't take damage, but he's also removing one of the biggest threats in G2 players.
Yeah, for sure. And now we will have SYU against Deathwing.
Go Eudora dig. Oh my goodness. That's really powerful, but there's only one tribe that SYU has to take advantage of at the moment in mechs. He can pick up that Pagel if he wants. And he did pick up Amalgadon. Okay, Gas Coiler. Looks like it can be the Beast. I think when you're handed a golden Eudora, you just go Menagerie at that point.
Yeah.
Okay, a Hydra, but Coiler, so it's kind of redundant with the Light Fang. It's difficult to figure out how he does this. I think he can taunt up the egg, then you play the Gas Coiler, you sell maybe the Baron at this point?
The Baron.
Yeah, get the Amalgadon.
Yes, he has to get the Amalgadon to start to scale this board.
Okay, he sold the egg instead.
Yes, I don't think it's enough, like, for the first place.
Yeah. I don't expect the Baron will stay in this for very long, but he held on onto it just to have a better chance at the next combat, because he still had that Kaboom bot and that synergy is still useful to him. RDU has transitioned to Murlocs now, starting to get a bit scary, but this is the last point where he can take a loss, I think. And if he does lose, it can only just be to a token. It can't be the Imp Mama surviving.
Okay. Yeah, Surrender here is in a really good spot. It will depend on the bolt, I think, Gia.
And the Coiler.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. All of these tokens are messing with his Divine Shields.
Oh, and the Deflecto bot that doesn't have the Rattle died first.
Oh, the Ghoul actually makes this a tie. Okay. But wow, exact lethal to kill off RDU over on Sparkling's side. That's huge. RDU is potentially going to spiral out of control with the Murlocs, but now that means actually Surrender has a good chance to take first. No more super threatening comps.
Yes, and yes, we have Eudora on the fourth place. It's not a surprising thing to say.
Dora is the one to face a ghost in this next combat because it's Deathwing and Dormu facing off. So at the very least, Eudora player has the time to scale up with that Golden Light Fang. If they picked up a Cleave with Hydra, for example, I think they had Gas Coiler, so not necessarily that minion type is gonna be buffed, but it's still a lot of chances to get stats.
Yes, and here Sparkling had a really nice turn. He could scale a bit more his board. And yes, SYU, he is with the Baron yet, Gia.
Yeah, he's still holding on to the Baron. I'm surprised by this, but I suppose it's because he had nothing that he really wanted to replace it with immediately. We saw him pick up pairs instead. He did level to 6 this turn, so he's just looking for triples instead. And
yes,
if he hits,
and he is going against a ghost, right? So
right. It is fine there. And if he hits any Anoyo modules, that could help him a lot. He has 2 mechs that could really use Divine Shield.
Okay.
A lot of bubbles being popped in this combat between Surrender and the normal player.
Okay, Void Walkers.
That is very annoying to deal with as Deathwing. It's a lot of added damage. But Surrender still has his big Deflecto bot. He still has that Gas Coiler. I don't actually think he's favored from this point though.
Yes, and the Gas Coiler didn't get him like super huge minions.
Surrender gonna narrowly lose this one, I believe.
Yes, but he has a lot of life yet.
Yeah, so does the Nozdormu though. They're in very similar positions with mech Divine Shield based comps, and it's very difficult to kind of scale a bit more from there. So I wonder if the Eudora actually takes this as a chance to do something a bit more powerful. Megasaur discovered. Oh, sorry, that's a player. That's Sparkling.
Okay, a Malkathon.
Okay, for SYU, didn't really hit either Divine Shield or Poisonous, which is what you really wanted. But at the very least, it's another minion type for Light Fang to deal with.
Yeah.
Yeah, as it stands, I don't think his comp is gonna get there against Surrender. He sells the Amalgadons.
Yeah,
just to get another
buff.
Right. Looking for a scam, and I think it's justified from this point. He feels he's too weak with the non-scam comp.
Yes, and here the Zep against Eudora will make a really good job because Eudora has, if I'm not wrong, Mama Bear. Let's see.
And for Sparkling facing off against Eudora, he actually did sell off that Mama Bear, so the Zap is just going to target. It still could get a lot of work done though if it hits the Gas Coiler first. That means there's not the full value from the Death Rattles. For Surrender though, he has a lot of breathing room. Still looking for good ways to capitalize off of these Divine Shields. Even if, unfortunately for him, dragons are banned in this lobby, so can't look for Draconid Enforcer.
Yeah. SYU is already praying there, Gia.
Yep. Okay. That's pretty cute, I suppose, to get some Divine Shields, but it really will have to depend on what comes off of these Death Rattles. Ooh, these are not good. He was looking for Eliza's, but he got some scrubs. Yeah, I don't think it's possible from this point, even if he gets triple Eliza from the second boat.
Yeah.
But will it be lethal damage? The question. The egg survives? If the egg survives, it could be lethal.
Oh,
yup.
And he survived it. And this is it for SYU.
Yeah, it was a pretty good run, making it to 3rd place, but it's still not enough to compensate for Valera's bad run in this lobby. It's now between Surrender and Sparkling to take 1st place. Surrender bought that free dealing Gambler last turn, I suppose, to just make his economy better this turn. He's looking at the Sensei pair. I'm not sure if there's space for that, but it's getting to the point where triple Bolvar is not necessarily even better than double Bolvar. Okay, just took the Argus for guaranteed small scale buffs. Oh, not enough gold to make this really smooth, huh?
Yes.
He would have loved to pick up the Metal Tooth Leaper, but he can only really sell the Argus. Could also just sell the small deflective lot. The Paragnat might be as useful to him right now as the immediate attack buffs and everything.
Okay, let's see what he's going to taunt here. The Bolvars.
Okay. Just putting taunt on as many minions as possible, so if he picks up Strong Shell Scavenger in the next few turns, he can get a very wide board buff. Yeah, this is the type of board where I could not tell you how the positioning happens. It's so difficult when you have 5 taunts and many resets.
Yes, this Hydra will have to work a lot here, Gia.
Yeah, pop 3 bubbles.
Yes. It got a really good place here.
Okay, actually looking still pretty fine for Surrender, I think. The Khadgar is potentially very problematic though, especially since the Men is still stuck.
Yeah. Okay.
Man, this Khadgar refuses to get sniped now. Double gas coiler summons. Rat Pack!
Wow.
Oh no, he's Deathwing! Oh no! Oh my goodness.
Insane.
Is that just the end for Surrender? There's too many tokens. I think he's dead.
Oh my god.
Okay.
Okay.
Still looks
yes,
pretty
but
dead.
the red pack is open. He doesn't like to see it. Gia, I think this is it for Surrender.
Looks like exact lethal even. Oh my goodness. Double Rat Pack spawned is huge there for Sparkling. I mean, Surrender had a chance, but fell a little bit short right at the end there. And that, I think, is definitely more up the alley of what I was expecting to see from WE. However, not a bad performance at all for T1 once again.
For sure. And WE was hoping to get that first place if they want to keep it up with the good run and have a chance on the next days. For this group and for Group A, they have 2 more lobbies, right? So everyone has a chance, I think, at this point.
We're going to wait on the final standings, but I have to say that final top 2 comps that we saw there is not something we usually expect. Surrender had a bunch of Divine Shield mech synergy, and also Sparkling had a lot of Divine Shield synergy, but also just had a Hydra there, had the Khadgar in the final comp alongside both. So that's more of a tempo option that he took, but it was good recognition that he didn't have to go greedy because Surrender's comp was not greedy either.
Yes, and the red pack of the Death Rattle minion was the MVP on this last combat for sure.
Yep, I'm very curious what the percentages to win that combat actually were. But in any case, the difference between first and second is not that big. Granted, it's bigger than the difference between any other 2 places because it's 9 points versus 7 points. But it's still gonna be, I think, in favor of T1 when we get all of the point totals in. Can't be too certain because 6-0 did finish pretty low in that lobby, but I expect that we're still going to see 3 teams be relatively close. So that's WE, T1, and also T2. But it's World Elite, or sorry, it's WE, T1, and G2 look pretty close, but it's SN that looks like they're slipping away.
Yes, and even with really good players, we have a really stacked group here. Gia, do you think this group is more stacked than the Group A?
Actually, quite possibly, I have to say. I think because World Elite players are both 14k plus from what we've heard, and also the T1 players and RDU, I feel like this group might have a little bit overall more Battlegrounds experience than Group A. So it'll be interesting to see how they face off in the semifinals. But World Elite actually takes a huge margin of a victory. They're 14 points total as opposed to T1's 9 points. So when we look at the final total, all 4 lobbies so far, I'm really not sure who's ahead.
Yeah, we will have to see the standings, the final standings, to see what team will be on the first on the group. So yeah, what a really good run we had today, Gia.
Yeah, 2 lobbies passed by in the blink of an eye. Unfortunately, we didn't get to spec 6-0 there at the end because of some observer issues. But still, even with 7 players, it's too much information for me on. But I absolutely love it. I'm excited for the future of Battlegrounds Esports as well. Hopefully, we can get this implemented, not just in the tournaments hosted in China, but they're definitely breaking ground and paving the way for the rest of us.
Yes, and we see this high standing tournament is so much different what we are used to see on invitationals for Battlegrounds. And yes, see like high level quality of this player is like amazing.
Mm-hmm. All right, so that will conclude the first portion of the day. Battlegrounds, 2 lobbies in the books. Both Group A and Group B have had their 4 lobbies, with 2 remaining to be played out in the next 2 days. When we come back, it'll be now the constructed portion, Group B, facing off once again T1, G2, and those are the international teams. But for the Chinese teams, we're going to see from Lucky Future and World Elite once again. So guys, don't go anywhere. Constructed after this.